It's a party in my office. You know you're jealous. It's been a while since I've been able to get to the video editing and get back up on YouTube. And it's mid-November. And it's already white. Well, it was an early season. We got the bikes out early. I think we were riding in March this year. There's only been one or two other seasons like that. And this caught me off guard. I managed to get the Street Glide put away. The rest of the bikes are in my garage. And I might pull a favor with a friend and see if I can't get the others somewhere. The 1200 is going to stay. It's been crazy. This year has been something else, and I wanted to mention that because there's just been a string of events, I guess, that have led to that. A friend of mine passed away, and I've been taking over some of his responsibilities in one of the organizations I belong to, and I have a tremendous amount of respect for the amount of work that secretaries do. I'm afraid I'm maybe not doing the best job, but I'm trying to keep up. And there's some roles that I'm stepping down from at the end of this year. So hopefully that gives me the time I need to be successful next year. And there's news about that too, but I'll wait for now. Amanda works this weekend, so I'm home with the kids, and we watched one of my favorite childhood movies, Six Pack, with Kenny Rogers. I was inspired to do that because last weekend I couldn't do much. Took a break from some of the work I was doing, and we watched The Gambler. I just happened to stumble across one of the streaming services and remembered how much I love Kenny Rogers. So did some searching and found Six Pack, and we watched that together. That was a memory I have with my grandma. She and I went to go see that one in the theaters when I was real little. Anyway, I hope everyone is doing well. Not real sure what I'm going to do with this episode. I have been putting up more signage on the barn. Didn't take any video while I was doing it. I mean, that's just the thing. When you're in a rush, the cameras don't come out. So maybe we'll see what kind of trouble I can get into the house this weekend, and maybe I'll have enough to push an update. But I just wanted you all to know that you're on my mind, and as we get into Thanksgiving, I'm thankful for those of you that are watching this, and my friends. I just really am thankful for you, and hope that everything in your life is going well, and that you have sorry for that. I hope you have a wonderful Thanksgiving, and soon we're headed into the Christmas season. So much as I'm not thrilled to see the snow and get back to, it's 13 degrees today. That is getting us closer to Christmas. In February, I'm going to make an escape somewhere down south. I hope to be doing that more and more as years go by. Right around January, I get so sick of Minnesota. Anyway, on to the show. Just got done celebrating Thanksgiving, and I hope all of you had a chance to spend time with family and think about all the people and things that you're grateful for. I have a lot of responsibilities up until the end of the year, so I'm trying to get through that. And in the meantime, I've managed to do a few things as far as upgrades. Party foul that I didn't bring the camera, but I kind of snuck these in. This is a ham radio mount plate. The F-150 that I have is aluminum, so not very good for a ground plane, but this little bracket goes into a fender bolt underneath the hood and basically grounds this out. And I've got my trusty Comet that I've used on all of my mobile rigs for 2 meter and 70 centimeters. So that's up and running. What I noticed though is in the door, there's not a lot of places to bring the feed cable. Thought about running it up here and through, but I didn't want anything pinched. So happens that I've got some things going on with this truck and it's going into the dealership this week. I'm just gonna have them go ahead and run that feed line into the cab. And additionally, another mount possibility on these trucks is on the tailgate. And I just put this in a second ago. This actually bolts in to the latch for the tailgate. I put this gumdrop connector on top. This will allow me to put my tar heel on here, although it won't clear for opening. So this is probably a better mount for the ham sticks, unless I flip this around and have it go out a little more. It's really not designed for that, but I don't see a reason why that wouldn't work, especially if I put some Loctite on these lugs. They do make one for the right side. I currently do not have it, but I think I'm going to go ahead and order it. They run about 30 bucks. And again, it's a nice little option for those of us with aluminum trucks. So that goes into the lug. I imagine that is grounded underneath somehow. And I've got the feed line coming into the bed of the truck. Worst case scenario is I can have it go up through the window and into the cab. Better case scenario, when they're up on the lift, I'm going to see if maybe they can't run it underneath and come into the cab from underneath. That'll give me 3 mount points for radio antennas, which for my daily driver is more than enough. Because I've got this guy here for doing some more of the crazy things too. We've got the halos up there from last time, and I'm going to continue adding to it. Do have a lip mount as well for another gumdrop that we'll put on this if I want to move the HF antenna over to the radio rig. Anyway, I'm trying to get myself into a position where I can use the F-150 only when I need it, either for hauling or for really bad snow. I suspect too, just spitballing, that I could put a mount up on the grill guard. And I might do that for a hefty HF mount. I've seen other people do that before. And that is mechanically what I've been working on. Ready to go into the house. I was having a little bit of trouble finding my leather, and then I remembered I went for a spin on the Softail Slim and found it's in the saddlebag on one of those nice fall days. Started out chilly and got warm. So that's good. And the Slim takes off on Tuesday. I tried multiple times to get it up to Lakeville, and nothing worked out. So they're coming down with their trailer to pick it up. And that's, I guess, one of the perks of being one of their VIP members. So I'm glad I signed up for that. And then today, it's 52 degrees. One of the reasons I was looking for the leathers. I'm going to take the Sporty over to Bergdale. The Street Glide's already there. And if I take the 883 over, I have a couple bikes in. They run one of those deals where if you do specific amounts of mechanical work over the winter, you get free storage. And I have some ideas that I want done to the 883. It all depends on how that deal shakes out. I'm hoping I can put it into one bike and get both of the bikes stored for free. But if that's not the case, I'll have to rethink some things. Anyway, while I am working on the Famine bike, I will be doing things to the 83. But I've been rethinking who represents what. As far as the theme on the Apocalypse bikes, Famine stays alone. It's nearly done. I've got a new tank and a new fender, both front and rear for the 883, and I thought that I would do that as the war bike because the paint on it right now is red. But rethinking that a little bit, I actually have a war bike in form of the Softail Slim. It doesn't have the red or the sword. However, whatever the helicopter airborne unit my dad was in had a sword with wings, I think, is part of their emblems. And I do have my dad's Vietnam unit, Ruthless Riders logo. And thinking about some of these things, I have a spare fuel tank that I bought for the Softail Slim. So I'm thinking about next season doing some work to its tank. I'll flip out the tank that's on it now with the replacement and then have the other one painted and turn that into the war bike. So that leaves the question of, well, is that 883 going to be death or famine? I've been giving serious thoughts of turning the Street Glide into death. I've got separate saddlebags, and that leaves the 883 to be famine. And so I've, as I said, been rethinking it. And the themes I've been thinking about on that bike have to do with that. So if you follow some of the symbolism, you know that that means that bike is going to have a play on the color white. So thinking about that, and going to talk with some friends and see what maybe I can't do about it. But there are mechanical things to do to it. First, the famine bike and the pestilence bike are both going to be plays on choppers. And, I've been wanting to do a scrambler, and I've talked about that. I've got the bars for it. I may still do a scrambler build, but it won't be anything in this series. So, famine to be worked on over the winter. I may have said famine on the white bike too. Pestilence is what I meant to say. And we'll see where we're at in the spring. I will give you updates throughout the winter. One of the things that I have a love-hate relationship with on Harley Davidsons are these fobs. They're great when they work. I try to keep one of these batteries spare with me at all times because when they don't work, it stinks. And I'm going to have to revisit how to do the codes on the Softail Slim. I'm not even sure that I set mine when I bought it. So I know I can do it on the Street Glide. I'll have to check the Slim. Anyway, I went up to start the bike and the alarms were going off because I couldn't see the fob. So hopefully that quick replacement of the lithium battery will put me into business. I'm sure people know this, but these are really bad for kids. If they swallow them, it can eat holes in their stomach. So make sure you put that on and throw it away somewhere safe. I'm going to probably put this in a baggie and put it away where no little ones can find it. Survey says, oh, hey, look at that. Wonderful. All right. We got to move it because I'm going to do some work primarily. Well, I'm going to do some work to the 883 before we take it out of here. Well, the 883 was ticked when I tried to start it. I guess it's been cold enough and she hasn't been run for long enough that the battery was not charged. So it barely turned. I plugged her in to the battery tender and hopefully that'll fix it. In the meantime, part of the updates are going on. I won't have the sissy bag anymore on this bike, or at least not quite as permanently. I don't think, based on the changes that I'm making, that this is going to be a long haul bike. In fact, I'm probably going to replace the seat like I did on Famine with a Mother Road Custom, which I've heard mixed reviews on how comfortable they are. But nonetheless, it is nice on these sissy bags to be able to put an Overwatch dry bag on. So I think I'm going to do that just for like overnight trips and get some heavy duty Velcro straps for this sissy bar bag if I ever want to put it on temporarily. Now all of this is what I've been using as a storage solution for the bikes, but I'm gonna check with a friend of mine to see if we can poke a hole back into this. And if I just step back a bit, you'll see that this is one section of the garage that I've set up basically to store the bikes. But behind that used to be my ham radio shack, and I've moved that out to the barn. So now I'm thinking a small double door or garage door to roll the bikes back, because that's where I've got the machine shop. We'll see. There we go. And I don't know if it's just me, but I love these Whirly Sissy bars. They look so nice. And they can just slide right over top of that and connect down. I got a solo seater set up on this 883, and it will stay that way. One of the things that's causing me to look at this 883 is the engine around these covers is starting to get roached, and a few other parts are too. I made the mistake of having this chloride stuff sprayed on my gravel road, and I think it ate pretty good into the bike. So that's all I'm going to say for now. There's a few different things that I'm interested in looking at and potentially doing. We'll get them to clean this up quite nicely. It's been kind of a day of poor luck, and I guess you just kind of roll with it. I've got my stereo out in the shop, not working right either. I've only got sound coming out of one side, so I'll open that up and take a look at it. You know, they say friction's a drag, and taken from my old physics instructor from high school, entropy is given too. Everything has a tendency to break down, and if you've got things organized and you've got the time, it can be extremely rewarding to fix it. But I have found Murphy likes to kick in and weigh in on the subject matter as well, and it's not always at opportune times. Oh well. I would have never in a million years thought that I would have been riding the Sportster to the Harley Davidson dealership at the end of November. It's kind of a gift. Minnesota still has snow on the ground because we did get a snowfall a few weeks ago. It wasn't a bad ride, except for the fact that I was down to almost no gas, and with the added surprise of my battery not working so hot. It was kind of interesting trip, shall we say, to Albert Lee, but I made it. I'm hoping that the battery recharged on the way out, but if it didn't, well, it's in the right place. And thank goodness for that. I got use of that farm jump starter yet again. This time not with the tractor, but with the Sportster. Some more on the updates soon. I talked with them as I dropped it off, and I think that little red 883's been feeling ornery because she's feeling neglected. So, and I have her looked at quite a bit actually this winter. So ran through a few different options. Like I said, more to come soon. Anyway, heading back to the yard. I'm gonna do some cleanup when I get there, and we'll see what other kind of shenanigans I can get myself into. And there she is, last campfire. This thing is a trusty, awesome thing. I've been trying to burn through the lumber I cut down earlier in the season, and it started with just a couple cotton balls and a fire striker. Just kind of watching this die down, and where I'm at, it's pretty dark every once in a while. I don't know if I'll catch it on film, but I'm listening to Coyote. Don't know if you can hear that or not. It's been a really good season, and as I've said on a few episodes, I got a lot of stuff done early. Right now, I'm working on a new ride that will ultimately take us back towards Tail of the Dragon, and this trip I'm going to spend some time in Maggie's Pass. Don't know if there'll be camping involved this time. What I'm kind of thinking is the people that are traveling with me will have waypoints the whole trip. And for those of us that want to camp, great. And for those of us who want hotels, great. I actually also don't know what bike I'll end up taking. Last time I went through, it was on the Softail Slim. I may do that again, or I might take the Street Glide. Or who knows, by that time, maybe the Sportsters will be done and I'll be crazy enough to take them. I just know I'm looking forward to 2023. There's a lot of good new things coming. And the last couple of years have been sort of doozies, if you want to know the truth. 2020 was, well, that was tough for everybody. So I'm looking forward to it. And I'm also thinking next year I'm not going to try to tackle everything all by myself. There's a lot to be said about doing work on your own bikes, and I've certainly over the last couple of years done a lot, at least for me, and I'm going to continue doing some of that, but I'm also not going to feel bad for having some of it done. So the Thanksgiving leftovers begin. Whatever would I do with home cut potatoes and onions and some turkey? Well, I can go to John Hardy's for barbecue, or I can have it at home. Pretty simple Sunday here at Merc Vapor Studios. We spent some time with family for Thanksgiving. This morning I made some barbecue turkey with some potatoes, and we were listening to disco. I can blame Doctor Who for that, for bringing back that Rasputin song. Anyway, fun times. T likes it. And if you haven't seen the dogs in a while, that monster right there, that's Hobbs.
Oliver.
Hobbsies, come say hi. Oh, goodness. Oh, goodness. Can you sit? Oh, he's excited. Good boy, Hobbsies. Good boy. Now go eat. That's all the time we have for today. I hope you had a good Thanksgiving, had time with family, are getting ready for the holidays, and just enjoyed time off and time with your family. So with that, I will remind you to keep an eye out and look for the beautiful things that are around you every day.